Hello, good evening, everyone. How y'all doing? Good evening, blessings. I pray all is well. I pray you've had a wonderful day and that your day is coming to an end, hopefully. You know, it's 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock. It might be in the morning for some of you, but good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Good evening, Reba. Hey, Tanya. I see you as well. Hey. Come on in. Listen, I'm trying to get on here so that I can see what I'm doing. No. Okay, it's a lot of stuff going on. Hold on. All right. Come on in. Hey, y'all. Hey, everybody. Good evening. Hey, Yvonne. Hey, Eva. Yes, good evening. So I was going to keep doing what I was doing. Listen, y'all, I was about elbow deep in some fabric. And so I was like, you know what? I need to go live because I was just, minding my business. And then it just hit me. I said, okay, I need to go live. I want to make sure that I go live. I wasn't sure if I went live or not last week, but I just wanted to make sure that I go live. And then not only that, but I got a little push in my suitcase. So I said, oh, let me get up. Right. So I'm not going to be long because like I said, I'm doing lots of stuff and things, but go ahead and share. Go ahead. Hey, India, how are you? Blessings. Hey. So I'm not going to be long, but I do want you all to share, to show some love. I'm just going to be short and sweet. Not like yesterday, but this is totally different. It's totally different. All right. So I was reminded in conversation, somebody just asked me a question just out of the blue. Like, didn't, X, Y, and Z happen? And I said, you know what? It did. And so here's the story, because I feel like I need to let y'all in on this little bit of a conversation, kind of give you a backstory. So once upon a time, right, Ian was my only child, right? And so right at one point, he had a small window. He had a small window, but Ian was my only child, and he's the oldest, right? So he is 13 going on 14. Hey, y'all coming in. Just kind of giving a little bit of a story real quick. And so he was born in, was it July? Yeah. Too many kids, y'all. I'm trying to remember. Right. Once upon a time, right? So Ian was the only child. He was born in July. And so by the time, I know it was cold outside. Right. Listen, don't even. I'm glad, I was able to pull this off without showing y'all all the gray. But I know it was getting colder outside, and we were we were living in an apartment at the time. And so, right, story time. And so I remember it was late at night. It was like 9 or 10 o'clock at night, or maybe even later than that. All I know is like it was really, really dark, right? And this is a time where once again, it's getting cold, so the sun goes down. So all I know is that it was dark and that it was late. And so we're getting ready for bed. We're winding down. I believe at the time, AC was going to, I think he was taking out the trash. And so all I know is that I had to wait for him to come back in. But we were getting ready for bed, and I was giving Ian a bath in the sink, in the kitchen sink. I remember being in the kitchen sink. It was right there by the front door. And so I'm giving him a bath, and I'm trying to wash him up. We're playing, singing, and all this stuff. He's at the time, he's like 4 or 5 months. And so as I'm giving him a bath, I went to go rinse him off. And so Ian was very active, and he was, a very, very active baby. I'm so thanking God I can even remember this right now. But it was in the middle of bath time, and as I'm going to go rinse him off, I noticed that I went to go stand him up. And, I'm used to him bouncing and being very active when I go to stand him up. But as soon as I stood him up, he kind of just collapsed and went back into the bath. And I'm like, that's not normal. I know I'm a new mom at the time, but it wasn't normal. And because I'm like, okay, he's normally active. What's happening? Waited for Chris to come in and said, you know what? Look at this. Maybe I'm just seeing things. Maybe he's just tired. What's going on? What's happening? And so he came in. I had the interaction, and then I did it again, and I stood him up, and he wasn't bouncing. He was kind of whimpering, and babies. He was very quiet and content as a baby, right? Kind of sort of how he is now. And so I just remember like a feeling that came over me, like, something is not right, because Ian at the time was very, very active. Like I said before, very, very active and energetic. And I was like, okay, we have to take him to the emergency room. If y'all know anything about new moms, I think new moms be the main one being in the emergency room 24/7. But this time I was like, this is something for real, and we need to go take care of it. So I want to say, I don't know. And I don't know if AC's right. I don't know if AC's on here and he could help me remember, but I don't know if my mom came and got us, because we didn't, I don't think we had a car at the time, but it was very late. And hey, good evening. Right. Good morning. And so somehow we got to the emergency room. I don't know if we did it that night or if we went the next night. We didn't have Uber, Lyft back then, right? Kind of telling you how long ago this was, right? There was no Uber, no Lyft. wasn't thinking about no taxi. I know one of the thoughts that came across our mind was that the bus wasn't running at the time. So listen, we come from humble beginnings, y'all. Humble beginnings. We used to ride the bus to church, okay? But folks wouldn't even do that today. But we rode the bus to church to be there all day and ask somebody to take us home. But anyways, somebody took us to the emergency room, and that night, or like I said, whether it was that night or whether it was that day, they said that he had to be admitted into the hospital. And I just remember the conversation. I don't necessarily remember how I felt at the time. I was just like, fix my baby, at the point. That's probably the only emotion I had was I was upset, and I was like, yeah, better fix my baby. And I believe that somebody needs to hear this, because not only did I have a feeling that something wasn't right, and I was, paying attention to what my son was doing, and I was tracking, all of the growth and all of that. And I think the biggest thing was earlier that week. I want to say it was either that week or a week before. It wasn't too long ago. My son had a doctor's appointment, and he was due for shots. And so he had his shots, so it wasn't anything like, he missed a shot or anything like that. But what made me upset and what kind of shook me was the fact that the doctors kept asking, did he fall? Was there an injury? Did he hurt himself? And I'm like, he's 5 months. He's not climbing. He's not, moving and doing all that stuff. He was barely trying to roll. He was like super chunky at the time. So I wish I would have threw up a picture of what he looked like, because I literally have pictures of what he looked like in that apartment during that time. Such a cute Gerber baby. Ian was so adorable. He still is adorable. Just, you gotta be careful when you tell him. You might have he might blush really, really big. But anyways, but he was just so cute. So I'm like, he's not climbing on anything. He didn't fall. I watch him like a hawk. At that time I was a stay-at-home mom. And so I'm with him 24/7. So there's no time there's no space for an injury to happen. And so I just remember, if anything, the feeling that I had was I was upset, because like the only thing that has happened is he's gotten shots in the last week or so. And the reason why the doctors were asking about a fall, okay, let me give y'all some more information. The reason why the doctors were asking about a fall or an injury was because an infection had set in, and the infection had begun to eat away at my son's bones, y'all, his bone. And it was the bone in one of his legs. I can't remember which leg, but immediately I was just like, this only could have happened from the vaccinations that he got in that leg. And so I was thinking about this story and thinking about what happened. And I know a lot of people are like, why is she telling me this? And the truth of the matter is, here's what the doctor said. The doctor said that he wouldn't be able to really crawl right. He wouldn't be able to really run. You might not see him run. You might not see him. He might have a little strange walk, if he got better. My son was hospitalized. I believe it was a few weeks. And after those weeks, he had a PICC line. So they literally had to put the line in his arm, and I had to give him medication. And I'm just like, man, I forgot about all of this. I forgot about, having to take care of this sick infant, because he was a baby. He was only like 5 and 6 months during this whole process. And they were talking about, you know, watching him and having a nurse, and I'm doing everything. I'm just like, man, y'all just fix my baby. And so I'm saying all this to let you know, like, I'm not saying that I'm superhuman or anything like that, but back on those times, I never once accepted that this is the way it was going to be. I never once accepted, always attached to what was happening at that moment. And I know that God allowed us to go through that for a reason. And now this is what I do because I have a relationship with God, and I look for that relationship to help me parent, help me be a wonderful mother, and to look out for my children. There's a lot of things that I've always been hesitant of doing. And one of those things is taking my children, and I don't mind medicine. I did pharmacy. I was a pharmaceutical tech for about 5 years, so I know how necessary medications are and how much they are a blessing from God, right, to have medications. But I also know the other side of it as well. And I feel like this story is valid and important because someone needs to hear that there is a strategy and a plan that God will give you. And so, just based off of that one incident, right? Because I consider that in a major incident. We stopped going to the pediatrician that we were at the time, and in that moment, the pediatrician that I was going to was one of the top pediatricians in that network at that time. However, some of the nurses and the staff were not. They really didn't care for our people. Their actions said it, how short they were with me. I definitely remember that because I know I took my girls to that same pediatrician one time, and then well, actually no, scratch that. I went to a whole different pediatrician because they were aligned with our godparents, the pediatrician that I went to. So I changed pediatricians. And then this is what I do. Okay. My kids from that point on, from that experience on, never got they never got shots on time. I would always allow them to develop. And, when they say, oh, they need to get their 4 months, oh, they need to get their 3 months, oh, they need to get their 6 months. And although it can be very controversial to say this, I've noticed that a lot of the kids that were my kids' age and that were getting things on time, they were catching a lot of sicknesses and illnesses, and even mentally and chemically in their brain, just developing on a whole nother level. And so this world and the institutions and the structures that have been put in place, we have to be mindful that Holy Spirit knows everything. He knows every single thing. God knows everything. He knows what's good and what's perfect and whatever concerning us. And so we have to be open and willing to hear what Holy Spirit is telling us. Now, no, I don't remember getting a feeling before I took him to that doctor's appointment to get those shots, but I do know that I was very uneasy, and I noticed the nurse's reaction to me and my child while she was trying to give the shots. And I immediately went back to that moment and I said, this is what happened. Because one of the doctors or nurses or whatever that was in the emergency room said, well, maybe it could have been a dirty needle when he got his shots. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, you shouldn't have let that slip, because my mind went directly to that point and to that time. And so I'm saying all this to say, listen to Holy Spirit, and don't take things for face value and always put a whole lot of because sometimes we will put so much emphasis and so much care and thought and energy into what the world says and into what man says. I can tell you this, my son, like I said, he's 13 now. He's trying to run track, he's trying to play basketball, doing all the sports. He gets on the trampoline anytime he wants to, pretty much trying to keep him back. But he's still active, and it's almost like it never happened. It's almost like it never happened. And it's like every once in a while, I have to remind myself that this is where I was. This is what happened. Not to bring on a woe is me, but look where we are now. Look what has happened now. The whole process of going from the 5-month Ian to this 13-year-old Ian. And, even trying to look back on Facebook posts or something, and I didn't even post about it. I didn't even post about my situation. I go from pictures of him in a walker straight to pictures of him walking for his first year birthday. So I'm almost speechless, because I'm like, God, wow. Somehow I missed the testimony. Somehow I missed it because, one, I was, by the time he was 9 months, I was pregnant again. But sometimes we miss out on the testimony because we're so worried about how devastating it is. Can you imagine seeing your infant? And some of you may have your own testimony where you've seen a child suffering, or you've seen a child going through something. Not once. The only thing I kept hearing is, not once did I believe what the doctors were saying. I saw the x-ray. I saw the hole that was in his leg that caused pain and anguish for my little baby. I saw the hole. And some of us, we sigh. We're so frustrated. Oh, well, you have superhuman strength. No. What do you believe? I'm trying not to get worked up because it's supposed to be a quick one. But what do you believe? Right? I wanted to name this live History. I have history. And some of us right now in this moment, we're forgetting the fact that we have history, that we have a history of miracles. We have a history of signs. We have a history of wonders. We have a history of God making a way. So why is this moment weighing so heavy on you? Why is this season that you're in? Why is this short little fleeting moment that we're in at this present time? Why is it so much to you? You're going to miss the testimony if you're so in your acceptance of the negative. I don't even remember crying. I just remember I was looking like, man, we got to get you out this hospital. I remember calling relatives and family members and letting them know what was happening. But no. I believe that because the trend because of the trends, because of how, oh Lord, it is once again, it's that misery loves company. And we look for moments where we can be miserable. We look for moments where we can gain people's, oh, look at me. I'm so sad. I'm so depressed. I'm so emotional. Pay attention to me. And then those that don't, you wallow in your depression, wallow in the moment. I mean, you wading in that water, soaking it up, soaking it up. But at some point, what you read is going to have to be activated in you. When you pray, the belief and the faith is going to have to meet that prayer. It's going to have to meet how you act, how you behave. At some point, your relationship with God is going to have to flow into who you are. Your relationship with the Father is going to have to be, it's going to have to match your lifestyle, because you have history. You have things that have happened, that have transpired, that are there to remind you that this too shall pass. That remind you that your God is not sitting on your shelf. He's high, he's set apart, he's mighty, he's wonderful. And accept his words, and don't accept the situation for how it is. Use it as information. Use it as information. Okay, this is what I have to do. But the fact, I don't even remember changing our lifestyle, changing how we maneuver, changing anything for the situation. I just remember the next thing the next pictures I have is of us trying to get him to walk. He was still, he got done being sick and went straight to cruising. He got done being sick and went straight to messing with everything and crawling all over the place. He got done being sick and went right back to being a baby. He was I think he was even acting like a baby during it. But I challenge you to remember what God has done for you. I've told people time and time again, you have to have history with God. This is just another opportunity. Remember when I was in this place, in this situation? Remember when I was dealing with this God and you came just in the nick of time. You gave me that idea. You gave me that strategy. You gave me that blueprint. You put it in me to do X, Y, and Z. I have had times where God has put it in me to pray over my children, to pray, to get up in the middle of the night and pray over my household. We don't know why. You don't have to know why. Do it. Because I can assure you, there's going to be a moment where God is going to be like, remember when you was up praying and you got this urge to lay hands on all your children, and you laid hands on the doors and windows, and you prayed and you got down and you created an atmosphere that was conducive for me? Remember that? Well, at that same time, somebody was going around the neighborhood stealing folks' cars, and they were doing stuff to people's property. And because here's something about prayer, and a little tidbit about spiritual mapping. A lot of times We'll see so much negativity. We'll see so many bad things happening, not understanding that where you live should be a place where good things happen, should be a place where God dwells, should be a place where we cancel out the enemy's activity. Where you live. That's why it's so hard. That's why it's so rough, because your house, your apartment, where you live is supposed to cancel out those negative events where rape might have happened, and murder might have happened, and drug dealing, and all sorts of theft. Your house, your place of dwelling should cancel that out. It should cancel that out. Yeah, they gonna go up on the rent. Yeah, they gonna make it difficult. Yeah, somebody gonna not like you in that apartment complex. Why you think so? Because you messing with a spiritual covenant they done made with the enemy to do evil. I done went down a rabbit hole. But I assure you that you have to believe what God says. Allow your life to reflect what you believe in, your surroundings. If you're a believer, everybody should not be comfortable in your home. If you're a believer, hey, Sandy Rose. If you're a believer, there should be some people that's like, wait a minute, whoa. Now, in my house, folks can't stay awake. And then everybody don't come over my house. When you're a believer, there should be something about your lifestyle and where you dwell that echoes the goodness of God, His greatness, who He is. I dare you to live like this world is only information and not structure and rules and boxes. Live according to what you believe. Sad to say that you already do live according to what you believe, but I challenge you to have that belief shift and change to what God says. Hey, Pastor Delshana. Listen, on that note, I just want to leave you with that thought. Let's live, react. Let's talk about that. Let's react according to what God says. Not just being slow to speak and slow to get angry. But if you really believed that all things were well and that all things work together for the good of them that love the Lord and are called, do you believe that all things work together, or that God is out to get you? Because He ain't. All things work together. Yes, the enemy comes to kill, steal, and destroy, but are you going to let him? Listen. All right. I just wanted to give y'all a testimony, because I don't know if I have said it before, but I definitely, when it hit me again, like, you know what, you're right. And this happened, and then that happened. But it's time for us to remember the goodness of the Lord. Hey, Hannah. So I want to invite you all. I want to invite you all. Where is it at? Where is it at? All right, there it is. So tomorrow night, and I say tomorrow night because some of you are in different time zones, but tomorrow night we're going to be having prayer with Fierce, right? Woo! Fierce is going to be having prayer. So if you haven't registered, go ahead and register at fiercetakeover.com. It's going to be at 10:59 p.m. Central Standard Time, right? So calculate that for Pacific or whatever time zone you're in, and 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So for those of you that are on my side of the world, that is roundabout at midnight, right? So we'll be getting started at midnight. So I have to make sure that it says 11:59 so that people don't get confused on the day and time. So tomorrow, February the 10th at 10:59 p.m. Central Standard Time and 11:59 Eastern Standard Time. Yeah, want to make sure I said it right. PM. We're going to be having our midnight prayer with Fierce. Some of you have already begun to register, so I want to invite you to go ahead and go to fiercetakeover.com, go to events, and get in on that. It's going to be awesome. Okay, and then also we're going to be having our bonnet meeting. The last one we had was, I believe, in November. Maybe I shouldn't say that. It might have been October. But we're having another bonnet meeting. That means that we get to come on. I was going to have my bonnet on, but I was like, nah, I'm going to go ahead and do something to this. So you can wear your bonnets, right? And we're going to fellowship and have conversation. We like to plan our hunts, if you will. And so the first one for this year is going to be February 21st at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay. And we want you to join us for fellowship and conversation. Okay. We have some stuff and things to talk about. We want to make sure that we are unified because Fierce is a network. All right. We are many, many organizations, many, many ministries and businesses that come together, and we make the network. Right. We're going to do some fishing. Right. So I'm excited about that. And do not forget, if you are looking, right, for some place, especially on that Sunday, but the Scent of a Woman conference is going to be coming back. It's going to be coming back. It's been about 8 years since I've done it. Have the save the date here, May 12th through the 14th. That is a weekend of awesomeness. It's going to be here in Charlotte, North Carolina. That Sunday, we're going to be having a Mother's Day brunch. I'm excited about that because I'm gonna get Design 34 to cater. So I'm so excited about that because everyone deserves to eat good on Mother's Day, right? So bless the Lord for that. May 12th through the 14th, Charlotte, North Carolina. We're going to have some teachings, trainings. We're going to do a little bit of worshiping. Going to have networking events, panels, book signings. It's going to be awesome. Speaking of book signing, if you did not know, The Scent of a Woman, the book will be out as well, and is definitely going to be presented at the Scent of the Woman conference. So I'm excited about it. So many things that we are doing, and look, if y'all don't know anything, this is the year to do it. Whatever God has you doing, this is the year to do it. And I know there's going to be many, many more books that's going to come this year. I'm just go ahead and say it just be ready, and be ready to hold me accountable too, right? So The Scent of a Woman is going to be released soon, and you will be able to have it signed at that event, May 12th through the 14th, the conference, The Scent of a Woman. So I'm very, very excited about what God is doing and the women that are coming together. I'm just like, okay, God. When I say it's been 8 years, it's been 8 years since we've been a separate conference. We've always done Trailblazers and had an element of things in there, but this is amazing, and I thank God for it. Listen, don't worry, because we are going to do several things with Fierce is just getting started. AMMI is just getting started, and so I'm excited about what we have planned for this year. But that's all I have for you all tonight. I pray that you were helped. I pray that you have a new outlook, or that something has been awakened in you, sparked in you, reminded you of whatever, so that you can run on and see what the end's going to be, right? So yeah. Oh, y'all, listen, I know y'all been saying a lot of stuff. All right, amen. Yes, the goodness of God. Bonnet meeting. Come with your bonnets. You can have your bonnets on. Some of us, we be in our I'll be in my office, because I need stuff here. Yes, authors. I'm excited. Right, wake up. Yeah, listen, please be ready to hang on in there with us. We want your input, and we want you, when you come to the bonnet meeting now. I know it might be a little late for some of y'all, but hang in there with us, y'all. We had some people, they came on, they signed on, and I think they went to sleep. But we want y'all to be a part. We want y'all to be a part, because we do ask for participation, because it is a conversation, and we do talk about some very, very interesting topics and such alike. All right. So I love y'all. Thank y'all so much for joining me and for coming on such at such an hour. But have a wonderful evening, and I'll see y'all next time. Toodles.